FY2025 results we've just released. An underlying EBIT of $738 million. That's a 6.2% return on invested capital. Still a very strong balance sheet, only $28 million of net debt. The numbers were down this year compared to last year, and what we've seen over the last year is quite challenging conditions with trade and geopolitical uncertainty, still a very large volume of exports coming out of China that's putting pressure on Asian steel prices. But we enter 26 with confidence. The outlook for the first half of FY26 is an EBIT that's improved on the second half of 25 in the range of $550 to $620 million. And our confidence comes from the work we're doing both inside the business, our cost and productivity programs, but also the work we're doing with investments in growth and sustainability. So I think still a good outlook for the company in terms of FY26 returns. A range of value realisation opportunities across the portfolio. We've called out specifically the 1,200 hectares of land that we have. We've been talking about that for some time now, but we have a head of property that's joined us, and Michael is doing a fine job in identifying what the opportunities are, including some immediate opportunities. We've just entered a lease for a portion of our land in New Zealand where a large battery is going to be installed. And we're also looking very closely at the West Apto land. That's a couple of hundred hectares removed from the steelmaking site, but has the potential for 350 to 400 residential housing lots. And at this time, with the housing crisis as it is, we think a significant opportunity for us to realise the value of that land. I don't think there's another company in Australia that is more supportive of the Prime Minister's Future Made in Australia initiative, and we're backing that up with investments in our own Blast Furnace number 6, MCL7 plate mill upgrade. What I've called out today is the need for intervention in the East Coast gas market. Gas prices in Australia are too high and are threatening manufacturing and our customers. So I'd like to see an intervention. The government has called for submissions into a gas market review, and we've made a submission. And from our perspective, there needs to be an intervention to ensure that we have Aussie gas for Aussie jobs and Aussie households. We continue our decarbonisation priorities and projects on a couple of fronts. Firstly, the internal work around our existing asset base, and we've seen continued efficiencies out of Port Kembla and North Star and Glenbrook, but equally some major project work. And the Neo Smelt project, we welcome 2 new partners this year, Woodside and Mitsui, to join Rio Tinto and BHP. A significant opportunity for us to potentially have a technology that helps us decarbonise the Pilbara ores. Look, one of the most exciting projects we have on foot is the New Zealand electric arc furnace. We're heading towards commissioning to commence at the end of this year. A significant change for that business, particularly at down points in the cycle, using scrap that's generated in the New Zealand economy that would typically be exported, utilising the renewable energy that's available in New Zealand, and a major reduction in carbon emissions, 1 million tonnes a year coming out of our process and the New Zealand economy. So a very exciting opportunity for the New Zealand steel business and the New Zealand economy. We've been working closely with the administrators and the state and federal governments on the Vassella situation for the last 6 months. A group of our people out of Port Kembla are working hard on the technical issues that the asset has. But we've also been thinking very deeply about what the future potential might be for Vassella around the existing steelmaking assets, but also around the iron ore reserves. We submitted a non-binding expression of interest under the administration process just a couple of weeks ago. Much more work to do there, a much longer term perspective, and clearly something that we need to think about quite deeply. But the consortium is a formidable consortium of global steelmakers, Nippon Steel, POSCO, JSW from India. We're all looking at it very carefully, and there'll be more information as the process unwinds. Look, we enter 26 confident. We have a strong plan around improving our existing portfolio, a large suite of capital projects in play, and that gives us great confidence in terms of potentially up to another $500 million of EBIT being generated in the business through 2030.